music for a child's heart, body, and mind.
Hello, wonderful people. Hello, wonderful children. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, mommies and daddies at home. I hope you are all staying safe. We're back to our grammar class again. Thank you very much for the last for our last classes, for the way you guys really worked well. I'm really impressed. Keep it coming, keep working harder, and don't worry, we'll get there. Remember, we are still on active and passive voice. Remember, in our last period, we had something on active voice. Remember all the things we highlighted? We said active voice is the voice of the doer of the action, where the whole of the action, the whole of the role was or is played by the subject. Emphasis is just laid on the subject, that's all. But when we come to passive, everything changes. You can see you have something on the board to work with. So today we are going to passive voice. I told you last time that you should forget about the passive voice until we get there. So right now, don't forget what you have learned in the active voice. You will need it in order to progress to the passive voice. Okay? So, passive voice describes when the subject receives the action. You remember everything centers on the subject, right? When we were treating the active voice. All the actions were carried out by the subject. Now, moving on to the passive, we change role. Now, when we talk about passive voice, there are things you need to note. Unlike when we treated our active voice, moving on to the passive, everything changes upside down, or everything changes to the other way. There are really important notes or steps to follow if you are to change a statement from active to passive. Now, many sentences naturally come in passive voice, but passive voice is not always the language or the step or the main voice you use when you are describing a statement or when you are making a general speech or statement. No. Number one, when changing an action from active to passive, things you need to note are: number one, the subject becomes the object. The subject becomes the object. Remember the part of the sentence that we call the subject. That's the first or initial part of the statement. So when we move on to the passive voice, the reverse becomes the case. The subject changes position and moves to the place of the object. We have some examples stated here already. Just take your time as you're going through as you're listening to me. Also, take your eyes to where the examples are. Number one, I said the subject becomes the object. Number two, the verbs change into the past participle form. And we have treated different aspects of verbs. I think you can remember when we did that in our first term. We took the 8 forms of verb. And you remember when we looked at statements that come in their past participle form. The same thing happens when you're changing statements or sentences from active to passive. You need to observe the same rules as well. Because when you're moving it from active to passive, the state that the verbs take at that point becomes different from when they're already in their passive form. Remember, in passive, it's like you're telling about something that has happened before. You are no longer the one saying it. You're like saying what you witnessed some time ago or in the past. Number 3, the main auxiliary verbs must agree with the general sentence. Now this is very, very important when we are talking about sentences. This is where a lot of us get it wrong. When you're changing a statement, it's like, okay, let's look at this scenario now. You witnessed a football match. You saw it happen. You watched the both teams play their thing, do their thing, and you really enjoyed it. And you're like trying to describe it to someone that was not there when the match was played. You don't say it as in the way, you don't say things in their present form anymore. You have to change everything into their past participle. So the same rule applies here. It's like when you're trying to relate something that has happened, you have to change the tenses, the general structure of the sentence. So in other words, the rules of Concord must be obeyed. The rule of Concord, the singular verbs must agree with the noun must agree with the verb, everything must agree. So you don't just use past tense where it ought not to be. And then you also know, to go to the next one, only an active voice sentence with a direct object can be made passive. Now remember in our last class, there was something I said. I said a sentence can come in a particular form. Remember, a sentence must contain a subject and then must equally contain a verb, and not necessarily an object. Remember, I said that, and I gave you some examples of sentences that come like that. So now when you want to change an active sentence into a passive voice, you do not change. You see those sentences that I highlighted or I mentioned that do not contain objects. There is no way you can work with those ones. You can only change sentences in their active forms that contain a verb, contain a subject, and equally contain an object. Now there are some examples on the board. We have the first one. The boy killed the snake. This is a complete sentence, contains a subject, contains a verb, an active verb actually, and equally an object. So in this case now, you can turn this particular kind of sentence into a passive voice. This is an active sentence, this is an active voice. The boy killed the snake. So now you want to change it from active to passive. The snake was killed by the boy. It's like you're reporting what happened. Now take a look at the other part of the sentence. That is the passive part of the sentence. Number one, the boy here is the subject at the initial part of the sentence. In the passive, the boy has moved from the subject to the object. You notice that, right? Good. So we have the next one. The verb remains. But because you are reporting this now in its past participle form, there has to be the presence of an auxiliary verb. So the auxiliary verb plays a major role here. Remember, the auxiliary verb also helps the main verb in sentences. We've treated that in the class. I'm sure you can remember. So now, the snake in the first part of the sentence, in its active form, was the object. So now, as you've changed the sentence now from active to passive, the snake now moves and becomes the subject. So this sentence now goes in line with everything we have stated here. Now let's look at the next example. You remember this sentence? It came in our active voice in our last class. The sardonic voice beats the drum. You notice what I did here? Sardonic voice, plural noun, beat, singular verb in its present form. The drum, object. Now, in order to follow the rule or the right steps in changing a statement from active to passive, things change. You come down. This is actually the passive voice. The drum was beaten by the sardonic voice. Now take a look at this again. Beat, simple present tense. Beaten, past participle. there is an auxiliary verb to help it. You notice again the sardonyx voice. In the initial sentence, in its active voice, the sardonyx voice was the subject. Changing that statement now from active to passive, sardonyx voice have now moved to become the object. Are we together? Okay. So that's how to change a statement from active to passive. Then the last example we have here, this same sentence came in our last class as well. I'm sure you can remember. The children ate the food. The children ate the food. So you change it from active to passive. The food was eaten by the children. Pay attention to the verbs I used here. That verb there, eating, is not spelled with ing. The same thing with the word beaten. That verb there is in its past participle form. So remember I told you, when changing an action from active to passive, one of the rules you need to observe is that the rules of concord must be obeyed. So that rule of concord is being obeyed here. Concord here talks about the use of verbs, the correct use of verbs. So the food was eaten by the children becomes the passive voice that you're using to change the children ate the food. The children, the subject, moves. In the last part of the sentence, it becomes the object. Ate remains normal past tense. Then you move the food, which is the object, turns around and becomes the subject. So according to what just like we've been seeing in our previous classes, you are going to get a note attached to this video. Pay attention to the notes. Everything is clearly written there. Pay attention to it, and then you're going to get your class work in the same column. So when you get that, I'm really impressed with what I've seen so far. I'm quite impressed with what I've been seeing so far. So keep doing more. I'll go through your work, give out my homework, and then I also encourage you guys to stay safe. Thank you very much.